Hey guys, I'm back. This is the Geopolitical Table News Network, and we're back. This is gonna be a short one, a very short one, because right now, there's in New York Eastern time. Actually, I got a few reports that it's also in Chicago, Midwestern Max. They also said that it was happening in Chicago, but there was only a video in New York, so I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure it's happening mostly in the major cities. I think that's happening in California as well. I'm not sure. But this is about Amazon. I know. Crazy, right? So, here's the explanation I gotta give. That I saw one of the most hypocritical things ever. In New York, the video showed protesters going on strike. It was just protesting, the average signs and all that. But one thing I saw the police do that again showed them such a hypocrite, and why the police does need reformation, is that the police basically scooted the protesters away. Literally scooted them. The demonstrators, they pushed them and also arrested. There's also arrests going on the demonstrators who are striking against Amazon for for the Teamsters, or the union they elected, the worker union that they elected that Jeff Bezos actively was against and says it does not recognize it. They're striking for pressuring him to recognize the union. And basically what the police did was the very opposite. They basically did back in when the major LBM movements was happening. I'm not dogging on the LBM movements, I'm dogging on the police. You saw on the streets that the LBM movements were blocking traffic, emergency vehicles. The police weren't basically doing anything against them. Why? Why is the police doing something against the protesters or the demonstrators or strikers against them, when they have literally only been there for an hour and they have done nothing wrong than actively blocking scrubs. I don't know how to pronounce it, but people who agree that the union should not be, there should be no worker union. Why is that? Why is the NPD? Why is the NYPD allowing that to happen and being such hypocrites when they actively did not block the LBM, did not do the same on the LBM movements? Why? Why is that? Why do the chiefs of the NYPD do that against innocent civilians and workers who are trying to have a better living standard, who are not even asking major reforms on the government, just wanting their worker union to be recognized and a well-paying job to be actively made? I don't understand that. That's one thing that went to me that actually infuriated me, because because they call this the free America, but there's nothing free about it unless you are part of their propaganda and allowing them to, and there's such news. If you want to pay a well-paying job, they refuse you right in front of you. They refuse to give increased wage for the big boys, the big guys, the big companies, the big four. They refuse you because they are the big four. They protect and serve not the average citizen, but the wealthy. This is what I have to say about that. This shows the police truly does need a reform, because if they're going to be such hypocrites, then the police does not deserve to be just there to protect and serve. They should be monitored 24/7. I don't understand why they not go against the LBM, but will go against workers, the average workers. You can see, and I'm not saying like this, the why. I'm not talking about race. The open movement is fine. I really don't care. It's about the police that are being hypocrites. Because if you're gonna allow one to do this, you should allow the other to do the same. That's called fairness and justice in society. But as you can see, I will later post a video on my channel. The police did not do that. They were arresting and actively pushing the demonstrators aside, trying to allow on the quotation of trying to allow traffic to move. And then if you're trying to allow traffic to move, why not just move the protesters or tell them to stand on the side? Why actively push them? Without even telling them to do that. And the protesters weren't randomly striking and demonstrating in like the streets, like on a random street or on a popular center. They were actively striking right in front of their office, in front of their workplace. They were striking actively, and they weren't even trying to block the traffic. They were trying to block the how do you call them, the scrabs from leaving the workplace to not deliver any appliances to make the company lose money. And that was one of the most hilarious hypocritical things that I've seen the police do. And Jeff Bezos online, this man is actively freaking what do you call it? I want to say fucking, but like my mind just goes back to like, hey. But yeah, actively fucking paying and talking about his I'm gonna be a trillionaire one day. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna launch myself into space. That is like, once you see that, you already know this nigga doesn't care. This man does not care. This man hates. This man just hates the union workers, because actively, if you're a just CEO of a company or founder or owner of a company, you would try to help your workers as best you can. Your employees, as a company, your employees do matter first. Yes, some things you cannot do because it will lose you, because as an owner, you're still allowed. You're allowed, because you are managing the company, but you're also allowed to have some profit for yourself, at least like 20 to 30% more than the average employee, because as an owner, it's almost clearly impossible for you not to gain more money than your employees. Because legit, if somehow your employees are getting more money, then you're really just. I just gotta say, you're really just. But yeah, for me, the average, I would say 20 to 30 is not insane. It's not bad, it's not good either, but it's not highly insane where you would say, wow, that's insane. But you want to know something that I learned 225% of CEOs gain 275 more than the average employee. 275 than the average employee. That's insane. And before, like in the 1970s, 1980s, that wasn't really that. It was down to 20%, which what I said, 20 to 50%, which I said was actually kind of good, because it's not highly insane that you would see that. But when it hit 1990, that reached 100% just in the span of 3 years. 100% in the span of 3 years. And this is when the wages started going up. But they secretly, or I would think they secretly did, is they little bit by little, they increase the wages of the employees to make it look like the employees are getting money and are being paid what they deserve to be paid, and all that. But I seriously seriously don't like when you out. And I have seen people on the internet, one of the stupidest things is they're entitled to that because they worked hard. Let's be serious, they worked hard. Yeah, they're the people, they're definitely the people on the ground actively sitting, putting packages up and putting this. They definitely did work hard. Yeah, they definitely worked hard for that. That makes sense. Duh, like, they definitely worked hard for that. No, they didn't. Just because they manage it does not mean they worked hard. I've seen CEOs who don't even work at all. They have someone working for them, and that person doesn't even get half of the things they own. The only people who I've seen who actually do work is the people who actually sit in the office all day long and then come back. But I've seen there's actively CEOs who don't even go to the office. They only appear once a week just to see if anything is going wrong. Quotations going wrong. This a just CEO, you would see them usually be there 20 like not 24/7, but sometimes like at least 5 days a week. If their employees say they can't be overtime, they say, you know what, you right, I'm staying after. And then there you go. That's like how you can detect a great and just CEO. How you cannot detect a great and just CEO is when the CEO barely appears there even for a month, which Jeff Bezos has done a lot. Not even Jeff Bezos, a lot of CEOs done that a lot, where they just don't appear for this span of days and then appear one day and then they quote, and that's like one of the days where an employee is having a misfit or something and then they have to talk to the guy. We all know what happens at the end. I don't have to continue that story, but yeah, that's how you detect that's how you detect a bad CEO. And those who defending them, I'm telling you, they either pay you really well for you to defend them, or you honestly are misinformed, or you want to become one of them, so you don't like when or you are a CEO secretly. You have to keep it shush. And you don't like when they tell you you're not entitled just because you make the company. And I am personally actually making a company. Me and my friend are. And when we do eventually get somewhere, I will be very just. I'll give my employees the right amount of pay. I will even increase it each year for the right amount of pay. If we're having a deficit, I'll pay even a deficit of something, and I have to make people on mandatory leave or this. I'll offer them, if things get better, I'll offer them the job again with higher paying wage. I'm being 100% serious. I'm not lying. Because the employees should matter to the company. Because without an employee, you're technically not a company. You cannot call yourself a company if the employee really doesn't matter. Because you can call yourself what do you call those people who are have like single, brother, I'm about to actually crash out because I'm just thinking of it. As you can see, didn't write a fucking script. Didn't write anything. To be frank with you, didn't write anything, and I don't know why. I would think I did do this pretty rushed. I'm gonna say that. But anyways, what I was talking about. Yeah, you would call yourself a sole partnership. It's something about those. I really honestly don't care about the labels that they put themselves in. All All it matters is you're an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur, and that's basically it. But talking about it, back to the subject of these aren't entrepreneurs; they're monopolies. They are, if you are able to exploit something and single-handedly because the word exploiting is basically and self-exploitation is when you're able to exploit something that no one can, and then you make it so no one can. That's what trademarks are. Or no, not trademarks. Fudge. Secret something. What Coca-Cola has. What Coca-Cola and other companies have. That is called exploitation. When you secretly guard something, and that's entrepreneurship. We all know you don't want something to patent it, but those also, if it gets so big that it becomes you're able to majorly profit from it, that eventually becomes a monopoly. No matter how you say it, that's a monopoly, and especially if you are I forgot what the average Coca-Cola manufacturer or the Coca-Cola employee makes, and I'm not trying to dog on Coca-Cola. I'm just I'm out of my head to try to make the point cross that they don't earn much, but somehow the company earns a lot. And I've seen Coca-Cola has been suffering a very bad lately, which I don't blame them. I'm sorry, Coca-Cola, CC, but there's others that can compete against you. It's not just you. But back to the subject. If I don't understand that. That's one thing I don't understand. I understand secrecy. You don't want things to copy you because instantly. But also, if you would if you put your mind in mind, if you're thinking, if you're actually gonna be fair to and just to all, that's going against the fair to just to all, because you're actively getting rid of the competition or cutting it in half, and so no one can do what you do, but you can make a monopoly out of the thing you do and not spread it around, which I'm completely against. If you're a monopoly, one thing I'm against. I'm not against businesses or entrepreneurs because I'm starting one myself, and I understand you want to succeed. But one thing I'm against is monopolies. And there's there's clothing companies out there that are monopolies, and some days they just somehow become not monopolies because clothing is a thing that depends on what products is created and is not created. So that's generally you can't become a monopoly without you actually doing something that just blows everybody away and everybody comes to you, like Coca-Cola, Jeff Bezos, or what you would call it, Amazon. Those are monopolies. But I guess this is gonna be it. I'm gonna cut it into parts. This is a bit long, but I'm gonna cut it into parts. I'm gonna cut it part 1, part 2, part 3, and all those. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is Geopolitical News Table News Network, and signing out.